So this will be our revision for chapter 9 before the exam. Okay. Transport in animals. In the first subtopic, we're gonna learn about the circulatory system law. So you need to know how to define it. So it is a system because circulatory system so it is a system of blood vessels with a pump. The pump is the heart law, and valves to ensure one-way flow of blood. Okay. So circulation they used to the heart to pump blood law, and then the blood vessel is the one that transports the blood throughout the body, and then the valve is the one that makes sure the blood is flowing in one way lah. Okay. So there are two types of circulations: single circulation and double circulation. So single circulation is only for fish lah. Double circulation is for mammals amphibians also, and human lah. But now you need to know mammals enough. So for single circulation let's see. So this one is like that lah. For us human, we have the capillary at the lungs there lah. But for fish is different. Fish, their capillaries for gaseous exchange is at the gills part lah. So gill capillaries, and then this one, the red color one, is the oxygenated blood lah. Okay, so for this one, the heart have two chambers, one ventricle and one atrium. Okay, and then after that artery. Okay, for fish is like that lah. The artery the first half part the artery is carrying the oxygenated blood until after the gill capillaries, and then this part of artery only carry the oxygenated blood lor. And then after that to the systemic circulation means the body lah. After passing through the capillaries, gaseous exchange again, the body cells directly take in the oxygen and then gives out the carbon dioxide to the blood. And then after that, the oxygenated blood is carried back to the heart again, and then pumped to the gills again lor. So this one is the single circulatory system lah. Okay, so this one if exam, how to explain? Blood flows through the heart once for each complete circuit, and then the heart only consists of two chambers lor, one atrium and one ventricle. Okay, for what about double circulatory system? Okay, for this one you have to learn more. The lungs here, you have the capillaries, and then it's different lah, because the heart here actually has four chambers, left and right atrium and left and right ventricles. So this one, and then the veins and the arteries have special names also lah. So the main vein we call it as vena cava. It brings back the oxygenated blood from the capillary bed in the systemic circulation back to the heart first lah. And then after that, the heart pumps the oxygenated blood to the lungs through the pulmonary artery. And then after that, gaseous exchange occur in the lungs, the alveoli of the lungs, and then oxygenated blood is transported back to the heart via this pulmonary vein. And then after that, this left side of heart, the atrium and ventricle, it is back from the atrium and then transport to the ventricle, and then ventricle pumps the blood out to the aorta and then throughout the body lah. So when exam, how to this one, blood flows through the heart twice, and then for each complete circuit and then they have four chambers, two atria, two ventricle. Okay, exam might ask you also, we have double and single circulation, but why is it the double circulation better? So this one the advantages of double circulation. First things, the blood flows through the heart twice for each complete circuit. So this one the heart is a pump so when you pump 2 times, it's always better than when you pump 1 time. So when you pump 2 times, this actually provides larger pressure. So the blood can be pushed to all parts of body. And then, okay, different pressure, different loops. At different loops. So, okay. By the way, to push the blood to all parts of body, this is to allow the substances to be transported efficiently in large animals like humans and other large mammals Okay, allows different pressures and different loops. So it's like that To the pulmonary artery, to the pulmonary circulation, we only pump for the first time. So the pump is lesser and then the second time is to the whole part of body. So the pressure will be higher also. And then we have septum, separating the left and right heart chambers to prevent the mixing of deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. So this one is to allow the body cells to have more oxygen, to take in more oxygen so that they can perform all metabolic reaction faster more efficiently. Okay, so this is all for your 9.1 circulatory system. Okay, 9.2 the heart. Okay, so this is the heart. Okay, you need to know how to label. This one is the right side, this one is the left side. Okay, right side we have 2 chambers atrium and ventricle. Yeah, atrium is on top, ventricle is at the bottom. Left side also the same, atrium and ventricle. Okay, and then the valve. The valve here at the right side one is tricuspid. Right side one, bicuspid. Okay. And then after that, the 2 valves here to the pulmonary artery and aorta one. This one is semilunar valves. So remember, tricuspid, bicuspid, semilunar. And after that, okay, blood they actually flows. This one is the pathway So the blood flows from vena cava to right atrium. This one is the oxygenated blood and then they pass through this tricuspid valve, okay, to the right ventricle. And then after that, when the heart is pumped, the blood flows from right ventricle and then they are pumped into the lungs via the pulmonary artery. Okay, and then after that, gaseous exchange occurs. And then after that, the blood is brought back this one, not here, this one, brought back by the pulmonary vein This one from the pulmonary vein straight away to this left atrium and then pass through this bicuspid valve and then after that to the left ventricle. And then after that, when the heart is pumped again and then flow from here to here, aorta. Okay, so this one is the flow of blood in the heart and then okay, why is it by right this one should be left side and then this one should be right side why this one is labeled like that because the left side or right side of the heart is labeled as if it was in the chest so in the chest this one is the right side, this one is the left side so and then after you know all the parts, okay, bicuspid valve is also known as mitral valve the other name. Okay, the function of septum here is to separate the left and right side of the heart to separate the oxygenated and deoxygenated blood. Okay, wall of left ventricle is much thicker than the wall of right ventricle. So this one because the left ventricle, if they ask you why left ventricle has to pump the blood in very high blood pressure, BP is blood pressure to the entire body, while the right ventricle only pumps the blood to the lungs Okay, and then here, the thickness of walls of ventricle is actually thicker than the atrium Why? Because ventricle they pumps blood out of the heart, and atrium is just receiving the blood So to pump the blood, you need to have the thicker wall. Okay, high pressure is needed to be generated. Okay, the heart, activity of heart, you have 3 ways to monitor it. The first one is ECG, electrocardiogram. Second one is pulse rate or heart rate. This one is the unit. BPM is actually beats per minute . Third one is listening to the sound of valves close . This one you use stethoscope . Normally it's for doctors or medical staffs . Okay. Lastly, this one, blood is pumped away from heart in arteries and returns to heart in veins. So arteries one is always away from heart . And then back to heart one is vein . So vena cava is actually a vein . And then aorta is an artery . Okay, pathway here. Just now already mentioned . Capillaries of body cells and then vena cava. Back to the heart. Right atrium, tricuspid valve or AV valve. AV valve is atrioventricular valve. Why is it atrioventricular? Atrio is the atrium, ventricular is the ventricles. So the valve between these two walls, these two chambers, we call it as AV valve . So from atrium to ventricle, and then semilunar valve to the pulmonary artery, and then gaseous exchange at the lung capillaries . Back to the pulmonary vein, semilunar valve, left atrium, bicuspid valve, left ventricle, aorta. Okay, effect on physical activity on pulse rate. So while we are doing physical activity, blood supply to the muscles increase . Because the energy demand in muscle increase because they need to contract and relax. They need energy to contract faster . Okay, and then after that, energy demand increase already. So the pulse rate will increase to supply more blood to the muscle. This is for the respiration of the muscle. This one you can have aerobic or anaerobic. But if the oxygen supply is enough, then it's aerobic . If the oxygen supply is limited, then it's anaerobic. This one is related to chapter 12, respiration. Okay, and then after that, energy supply from muscle contraction also increase because the respiration rate of the muscle increase already . So this one is for 9.2. Okay, this one, CHD, coronary heart disease, is a disease that you need to be quite familiar because it's related to your heart . Okay, coronary heart disease is actually related to the coronary artery . So coronary artery they will actually deliver oxygen, glucose and other nutrients to the heart and remove carbon dioxide and waste product from the cardiac muscle cells. Cardiac muscle cells means the heart muscle cells . So this one, diet with high cholesterol and concentration of saturated fats causes accumulation of cholesterol and white blood cell. So when you eat the food with high cholesterol or high concentration of fats saturated fats to be specific, this will cause the cholesterol to accumulate in the white blood cell, accumulate with the white blood cell in the blood vessel, like that. And then plaque is formed, and then after that, this one, the yellow color thing is plaque . Okay, and then after that, the artery wall will also becoming less elastic because you have thing to cover the walls already so it is not elastic to be pulled or to be contract and relaxed . So the lumen of artery also becomes narrow . This one is the normal one, And then after that, if there's plaque over there, artery becomes narrow already because this one is the lumen left for the blood. So okay, blood flow will be restricted, blood pressure will increase. So this is bad for your health So the blockage of the cardiac muscle, coronary arteries or the blood vessels you have two types partial blockage or complete blockage. Partial blockage you need to write blood flow is restricted to the blood flow to the cardiac muscle cell is restricted and then after that this will result in severe chest pain. This one, the severe chest pain is actually angina. Angina in Chinese we call it as 心绞痛 Okay, complete blockage is the whole vessel is blocked not like that but like that completely blocked at this area, so the blood cannot pass through. So the cells in that area will be unable to respire and then to contract. This will lead to heart attack Okay, and this one is the diagram. You can refer back to your notes Okay, normal artery is like that very healthy artery. And then this one, if plaque is there, then the artery is narrow. So this one will lead to coronary heart disease Okay, risk factors for CHD. Poor diet. So this one if you eat more saturated fats this will increase your cholesterol level. If I use other color, more saturated fats, and then cholesterol level increase. Then the chance of the build-up of fatty plaques will increase Okay, secondly, stress. When under stress, hormones produced can increase blood pressure. Okay, stress and then hormones will be produced So blood pressure will be increasing, and then after that blockage of the coronary arteries will increase also. Smoking. Nicotine in cigarettes will cause blood vessels to become narrower. This will increase the blood pressure. So the build-up of fat globules will increase also. And then if the blockage if the build-up of fat globules is at the artery coronary artery this will cause CHD Okay, genetic predisposition. This one is history of CHD in family. So let's say if your touch wood if your parents they have CHD, so you will have higher risk also like that age. So risk of CHD will increase as you get older. Gender, males are more likely to get CHD Okay, we look at the preventing and reducing risk first. Quit smoking Why? This one is you can straight away write if they ask you how to reduce the risk or how to prevent CHD. So quit smoking and then explain. Because smoking will increase the blood flow and blood pressure. This will actually further increase the blockage of coronary artery. Secondly, decreasing the saturated fats intake in your diet. So how? You can eat more fruits and vegetables because they have lower cholesterol. And then because eat fruits and vegetables they will actually also help in weight loss and reducing risk of CHD. Okay, lastly, exercise regularly. This is to keep your body fit and help in lose weight And then this one will also reduce your blood pressure and cholesterol level, as well as reducing stress also. Okay. Treatment for CHD. You have 3 types lah. Angioplasty, stent, and coronary bypass. Okay, for angioplasty, catheter with balloon is inserted into the artery. So this catheter and balloon insert to the artery, and then after that, this balloon will be inflated so the artery will be widened. For stent, small plastic metal or small plaster mesh or plastic mesh will be inserted into artery. This is to open up the artery. Okay. Coronary bypass. You take another blood vessel from your leg, arm, or chest and then you take the blood vessel to connect to the, let's say this artery is already blocked, this coronary artery. So you use another one to build another passage over here to bypass the blocked artery, so the blood has new way to flow through. So this is all for CHD, and then after that we'll move on to the last two subtopic, but the last page of notes Okay, blood vessels, you have 3 types artery, veins, and capillary. Artery, this one is artery. The lumen is smaller, and then this one lumen bigger. This one actually very small but when I drew it I already zoom in Okay, so thickness of wall. Artery, thick muscular wall with elastic fibers. So artery should be elastic also so that is why when plaque is formed relate back to the CHD when the fatty plaques is formed then the artery become less elastic For veins thin wall, little muscle, and elastic tissues. Okay. Capillaries, 1 cell thick wall, only 1 cell. Diameter of lumen. Smallest is artery, and then actually capillary is also smaller. So artery small, capillary small, vein is large. Presence of what? Only for vein, because for vein the blood pressure is very low so you need to have the valve to ensure the blood to flow in one direction Okay, function, transport oxygenated blood quickly at high pressure from heart to body tissue. This one is for artery. And then after that, for vein, transport the oxygenated blood from body tissue back to the heart. Okay. Capillaries is to allow rapid gaseous exchange between blood and body cells via diffusion. Diffusion, is related back to chapter 3. Okay. Blood pressure. Small lumen. Because of small lumen, artery will have higher blood pressure. Because of large lumen, then this one will have lower blood pressure. Okay. And then you need to know the main blood vessels also. This one is the over here for lungs you have pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein. And then heart you have 4, pulmonary artery and vein, vena cava and aorta. Liver you have 3. Hepatic vein, hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein is from gut to liver so digestive system to liver. And then hepatic artery. So hepatic is related to liver, and then pulmonary is to lungs. And then gut they have this one more then this one mesenteric artery. This one you don't have to know also, but you can just know the name as extra knowledge Okay. Kidneys, you have renal vein and renal artery Okay. Artery is towards this organ, vein is away from the organ. Okay. Lastly, blood. Okay. For blood components, you have blood cells and plasma. Blood cells, you have 3 types: red blood cell, white blood cell, and platelets. Okay, red blood cell is for transporting oxygen. Okay, this one, if they ask you adaptation of red blood cell, you will have 2. Okay, if they give you 4 marks, so you have to write 2 characteristics and 2 explanation. So, biconcave disc shape is to provide larger surface for more oxygen to bind in. No nucleus is to provide more space for carrying oxygen. Okay. This one is when they ask you how the red blood cell transport oxygen. It is because the hemoglobin they are there to bind with oxygen and then hemoglobin is in the red blood cell. Okay, white blood cell, you have 2 types: lymphocytes and phagocytes. Lymphocytes is for antibody production, and then phagocytes is for engulfing the pathogens. The special term is phagocytosis. Okay. Platelets is for blood clotting, and then plasma is to transport the blood cells, ions, hormones, and carbon dioxide. Okay, so this one is phagocytes. This is how the phagocytosis works. So this one is phagocytes, and then this one is pathogen. Okay, and then the bacteria being engulfed by phagocyte means they will they will move around. They will use the cell membrane to surround the pathogens first, and then after that engulf it. After they engulf it, the phagocytes they will release the digestive enzymes to destroy the bacteria or the pathogen. This one is the composition of the blood. 55% is plasma, 45% is the blood cells. Okay. This one is a blood clotting So this one, blood clotting the function of blood clotting is to prevent blood loss and entry of pathogens. So it's to prevent infection Okay. So this is the process Platelets, they will release this kind of chemicals called thrombin to the fibrinogen. Fibrinogen is soluble so after thrombin is released this fibrinogen which is the plasma protein will be converted to fibrin, insoluble fiber, and then after that fibrin will form a mesh, insoluble mesh here to trap the red blood cells from flowing out of the blood vessel. So eventually the mesh will form clot, and then clot will dry and develops into scab. So this one blood clotting will also be one of the popular questions in exam because it's quite important also. Okay, broken blood vessel wall, red blood cell is flowing out, so the fibrinogen soluble fibrinogen there, they will platelets will release the chemicals thrombin and then so fibrinogen will form fibrin, this kind of thing and then after that fibrin will clot you block there with the platelets, activated platelets and the red blood cell that it's actually clotted there so that's all for chapter 9. Okay, see you in the next video for chapter 10.